You know that feeling when you're watching a movie and it feels like two totally different films got mashed together? The first half is amazing, but then the second half, well, it just leaves you kind of scratching your head. That's exactly the puzzle we're going to gently piece together today, and it's all about a film called Dude.
Hello, Lens Mates. I'm Book Lens, and it's so nice to have you here with me. So go ahead, get comfortable. Maybe you're settling in for the evening, or maybe you just need a quiet voice to keep you company. Whatever the case, let's explore this little cinematic puzzle together.
So yeah, at the very heart of our story today is this one film, the big Diwali release, Dude. Now, this was a movie that came out with all the sizzle and promise of a massive blockbuster. But what happened next? Well, it's what left critics and audiences with this really fascinating and super consistent split in their opinions.
Okay, so to really get why the reaction was what it was, we have to talk about the expectations first. Dude wasn't just, another movie. It was set up to be this huge festive event. And for anyone who might not know, a Diwali release in India is, well, it's a really, really big deal. Think of it like the biggest summer blockbuster slot in the US. It's prime real estate, save for the films that are expected to be massive hits.
And I mean, when you look at it on paper, it had all the perfect ingredients for a smash hit. You've got these two rising stars, Pradeep Ranganathan and Mamita Baiju. It was backed by a real powerhouse studio, Mithri Movie Makers, and of course, it had that coveted Diwali release date. Everything was pointing towards a home run.
And this, right here, this number tells you everything you need to know about the industry's confidence. 25 crore rupees. That's what Netflix reportedly paid for the streaming rights before the movie even came out. That's not just a vote of confidence, that's a massive bet on a surefire blockbuster.
So, with all of that hype, all that momentum, the stage was absolutely set for a certified hit. But what happened when the film actually came out and people started talking about it? Well, that's where our story takes a much more complicated and honestly, a much more interesting turn.
Right, so this is where it gets really, really interesting. The reviews that came out, they weren't just a simple we loved it or we hated it. No, something else happened. A really clear, really consistent pattern started to show up, pretty much everywhere you looked.
And that pattern was this. Dude opened to what we called mixed reviews. But it was a very specific kind of mixed. The consensus was that the film was almost at war with itself. It wasn't that some critics loved it and others hated it. No, it was that pretty much every critic loved the first half and felt really let down by the second.
And this really breaks it down perfectly. Just look at the words critics used for the first half. You see things like breezy, fun, engaging. They talk about a terrific setup. It sounds great, right? But then, look over at the column for the second half. The whole mood just shifts. Meandering, lackluster, uneven, routine. It's like they were reviewing two completely different movies. It seems like the writing just ran out of steam.
And here's a quote from the Indian Express that just hits the nail on the head. They called it a film that starts off with breezy fun, but loses its charm in a meandering, uneven second half. It's so direct. And believe me, they weren't the only ones saying this. That idea, a great start followed by a fizzle, that pretty much became the story of Dude's reception.
So let's dig into that a little more. What exactly was it about that first half that had everyone so charmed? What were the ingredients that really worked?
Well, for starters, a lot of reviewers pointed to this really specific youthful vibe. Some even called it Pradeep Ranganathan-coded energy. They raved about the chemistry between the leads, saying it was just crackling. The humor felt fresh and fun, the way the story was told kept you hooked, and oh yeah, pretty much everyone was talking about the music. The soundtrack by Sai Abhyankar was seen as a huge plus.
Okay, so we have this split. A great first half, a weak second half. But in the middle of all that disagreement about the movie's structure, there was one thing, one single element that everybody, and I mean everybody, agreed was absolutely brilliant.
So what was it? Amid all the division, what was the one thing that critics unanimously praised?
The performance of our Sarathkumar. That was it. Here you have this veteran actor in a supporting role no less, and he just completely captivated every single person who reviewed the film. Just listen to what film trade analyst Sridhar Pillai said. He just put it out there. It is hashtag Sarathkumar who steals the thunder. And that's coming from a trade analyst, someone who's looking at the dollars and cents of it all. So for him to say that, it really means something.
Then you have the Times of India, who said he clearly shines in a dynamic role that gives him a chance to flex his range. They saw him showing off everything he could do as an actor, and they were seriously impressed.
But this last quote from Cinema Express, this might be the most powerful one. They said, if only the film allowed Sarathkumar to push his character a little further, we could have gotten one of the best Tamil cinema villains in recent memory. I mean, think about that. His performance was so good, it left him wishing for more. They could see the potential for an all-time great character that was just right there, almost within reach.
So, let's put all the pieces together. You've got the brilliant beginning, the shaky ending, and then this one incredible scene-stealing performance. What does the final verdict look like? Well, let's take a look at the actual ratings. And here they are. You can see how the numbers all kind of cluster together right in that 2.5 to 3 out of 5 stars range. This is pretty much the textbook definition of mixed reviews. It's not a disaster by any means, but it's also not the runaway hit that everyone was hoping for. It just couldn't quite get over the finish line.
So in the end, the consensus seems to be that Dude was a film full of brilliant moments that just struggled to come together as a brilliant whole. It had so much going for it, but something got lost along the way. It's just a great reminder that sometimes having amazing parts doesn't always guarantee an amazing finished product.
And I think that leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. Can one single powerful performance be enough to make a flawed film truly unforgettable? Is that what sticks with you years later? It's something to ponder. Thank you so much for settling in and exploring this with me today.